I'm a 50-year-old man, and for the last 23 years, I've been married to Amy, who is 48. We have 3 children: Rachel, 22, Jake, 19, and Ava, who is 17 and about to turn 18. With our kids growing up, Rachel has already moved out to start her career after graduating from college. Jake stays in a dorm at his university, and Ava often spends time at her friend's house. Like any couple, Amy and I have faced our fair share of struggles, but nothing could prepare me for what she recently revealed. One quiet day when the kids weren't home, Amy sat me down and dropped a bombshell that completely blindsided me. For the past 2 years, she had been having an affair with a younger colleague, a 27-year-old man named Matt. But that wasn't the worst part. She also told me she wanted to take their relationship further. I couldn't believe it. The woman I had loved and trusted for more than 2 decades had been lying to me for years. As she spoke, she tried to explain, saying that with our children becoming independent, she felt it was the right time to be honest with me. Her words barely registered, overwhelmed as I was by the sheer betrayal. I broke down in tears, begging her not to leave. I pleaded for a second chance, desperate to understand how she could do this to me, to our family. But her response was like a knife to the heart. She tried to comfort me, but her words only deepened the pain. She told me that she no longer felt love for me and couldn't keep pretending. She admitted she didn't want to waste any more time in our marriage. After what seemed like an eternity of sobbing, I finally regained some control over my emotions. I realized that no matter how much I begged, nothing would change. A whirlwind of anger, pain, and disbelief raged inside me. But one thing became clear. I couldn't stay in this broken state, pleading for someone that was no longer there. Summoning all the strength I could find, I stood up, wiped my tears, and told her to leave. I didn't want her in our house anymore. She looked stunned, likely shocked by my sudden shift from desperation to resolve. Honestly, I was surprised by myself too, but something inside me had snapped. I refused to be treated like this. Amy had already packed a duffel bag with some of her things, which only confirmed that she had been planning this for some time. Before leaving, she gave me an awkward hug, but I didn't return it. I stood still, stiff as a board, unwilling to accept any comfort from her after what she had done. The moment she walked out, reality hit me like a ton of bricks. I collapsed onto the couch and cried for hours. The betrayal was suffocating. My world had shattered, and I couldn't do anything to fix it. I remained numb and lost until Ava returned home. When she saw me, she immediately knew something was wrong. My swollen eyes and my silence only made her more concerned. She asked where her mother was, and though I hesitated, I knew I couldn't lie. I told her the truth. Watching her reaction was heartbreaking. The same shock and pain I had felt when Amy first confessed mirrored on Ava's face. Without a second thought, she pulled out her phone and began calling her siblings, telling them what had happened and asking them to come home. She also reached out to my brother Eric, who lives far away, but he was quick to offer his support. Eric, who is 45, has always been someone I could count on. That night, even though it was late, he made the trip to my house. He moved in temporarily, not just to be there for me, but also to support the kids and make sure I wasn't alone in the aftermath of everything. A week has passed since Amy left, and Eric is still here doing his best to restore some normalcy in the chaos. We're all struggling to process everything. My mental state has been fragile since the day Amy walked out. I never expected to feel this lost, this disoriented. Every morning, I wake up hoping it was just a nightmare, but reality slaps me back in the face. The pain hasn't eased, and even the simplest tasks feel insurmountable. Still, I'm trying to stay strong for my kids. Even though I'm falling apart inside, I have to hold it together for them. I'm thankful for the support I've received, especially from Eric, who's been here with me. However, the weight of betrayal is still unbearable. It's not just that she left, but the fact that she deceived me for 2 years without me ever seeing it coming. Then, a week after she left, I received an unexpected call from Amy. We hadn't spoken since the night she walked out, so I had no idea what to expect. Her voice was shaky, and she sounded upset as she asked about the kids. I kept my tone as neutral as I could and told her they were all here with me. I didn't want her to hear any emotion, but then she broke down in tears. Despite everything, a small part of me couldn't help but feel something. She confessed that Matt had rejected her when she asked if she could move in with him after leaving our home. He told her he wasn't looking for anything serious and wanted to keep living his life freely. He also pointed out that her age and the fact that she had 3 kids made her someone he didn't see a future with. Amy was devastated. Through sobs, she told me she had nowhere to go and had been staying in a hotel for the past week. To make matters worse, our kids had cut her off completely. They had blocked her on social media and refused to speak with her. She was desperate. She pleaded with me to take her back, to let her come home, and to give our marriage another chance. For a moment, I almost felt myself wavering, but then my anger took over. How could she expect me to take her back after everything she had done? The nerve of it made my blood boil. I told her firmly that there was no way I would allow her to return. She made her choice, and now she had to live with it. She had abandoned our marriage for an affair, and now she was facing the consequences of her actions. Before she could say anything else, I ended the call, turned off my phone, and went to bed emotionally drained. The next morning, when I turned my phone back on, I was bombarded with a flood of angry messages from Amy. She accused me of being selfish and not considering her feelings. She even blamed me for turning our kids against her, which was completely untrue. They had made that decision on their own. Ava had been the one to tell me about it after it had already happened. It was clear that Amy was trying to manipulate me, but I wasn't falling for it. I couldn't just forget what she had done, and I was not about to let her back into my life. I had every right to decide who stayed in my house, especially since it was legally mine. I wasn't being unfair or cruel. I was simply refusing to let her continue controlling me. She wanted me to feel guilty, but I knew I was doing the right thing. Right now, I needed time to heal, to process everything, and to focus on being there for my kids. I couldn't allow her to return whenever it suited her. She made her choice, and now she had to face the consequences. When Amy decided to leave our marriage for someone else, I never imagined she would try to come back. But the moment things didn't go the way she expected, she assumed I'd take her back without hesitation. I needed to make sure I wasn't acting out of anger or pain, so I reached out for advice. I wanted to hear other perspectives to be sure I wasn't being too harsh. The response was overwhelming. Countless people supported my decision, and their encouragement helped me realize just how much Amy had manipulated me over the years. She had made me doubt myself, to question my choices, but now with so many voices telling me I was right to stand firm, I could see things more clearly. If I had caved and let her return, I would have set myself up for a future filled with uncertainty and resentment. Days have passed since I made my decision, but Amy hasn't given up. She's used every tactic she can think of. Guilt-tripping, gaslighting, relentless apologies. She keeps insisting she made a terrible mistake and is willing to do whatever it takes to fix things. But I can't comprehend how she expects me to forgive something so profound. This wasn't just a one-time mistake. It was 2 years of betrayal. And the worst part is, she still doesn't seem to fully understand the depth of the damage she's caused. Despite her desperate pleas, I know I can't go back. I don't think Amy will ever truly grasp the full extent of her actions. I've been feeling a bit more at ease lately. Ava, my daughter, has been checking in on me regularly, which I really appreciate. However, I made sure to tell her that she shouldn't feel like she has to stay home or take on more responsibilities than usual. She has her own life to live, and I don't want her to feel burdened by this situation. My brother Eric, who's been staying with us, has been an incredible source of support. He's not the kind of person to openly show his emotions, but his practical help has been a huge relief. Having him here has lightened some of my burdens, and I'm truly grateful. I know he'll eventually go back to his own life, but for now, his presence has made a significant impact. On the legal side, I've taken the steps necessary to make sure the divorce proceeds without any unnecessary delays. Once I realized that Amy had no place to go and wasn't planning to start the process on her own, I knew it was up to me to take action. She had been hoping for some way back into my life, but that was never going to happen. This whole ordeal has been mentally exhausting, and I'm not looking forward to what's still to come. But I can at least find some comfort in knowing that I did everything I could to try to save our marriage. What's happening now is a result of her decisions, not mine. One thing I'm thankful for is that my children are older now. I can't imagine how difficult it would be to deal with a custody battle on top of everything else. While it's still hard to come to terms with how things ended, at least I don't have to fight over visitation rights. Amy was served with divorce papers, and her reaction was exactly what I expected. Anger, resentment, and constant blame. She's been flooding me with hateful messages, accusing me of ruining her life, and claiming that I'm just doing this out of revenge for her having a little fun. She's even thrown cheap insults at me, pointing out my age and making comments about my receding hairline. I'll admit I haven't exactly been in top form in recent years, so those words stung a little, but deep down I know she's just projecting her own unhappiness onto me. She wanted excitement and something new, and now that it's all falling apart, she's searching for someone else to blame. I spent years ignoring the red flags in our relationship because I loved her, and now I feel foolish for not seeing them earlier. But now, as she's on the verge of becoming my ex-wife, I can finally see her for who she really is. There's still a small part of me that cares about her, which is hard to admit. I think that's the only reason I haven't completely cut her off yet. I know I need to, especially as her messages are becoming more toxic by the day. I just haven't found the strength to sever all ties yet, but I know that day is coming. In an ironic twist, Amy has found herself tangled in drama with Matt, the man she risked everything for. She went online to vent, claiming that Matt had led her on for 2 years only to dump her because he didn't see a future with her. It didn't take long for some of his former lovers to chime in, revealing that he'd been seeing multiple women at the office. It only confirmed what I had suspected all along. Matt was never serious about her. A small part of me feels sorry for her, but I can't ignore that this is a direct result of her own actions. She threw away everything we had for a meaningless affair, and now she's left with nothing. It's hard not to see this as karma. Despite everything, I'm handling things much better than I was in the beginning. We're now in the negotiation phase of the divorce, and for the first time, I can look at Amy without feeling the overwhelming emotions I once did. I've grown indifferent to her. She still tries to engage with me during meetings, but I keep my distance as much as possible. Her social media posts have only made it easier for me. By publicly airing her grievances about her failed relationship with Matt, she inadvertently provided all the proof I needed of her infidelity, saving me the trouble of gathering evidence myself. My kids still refuse to speak to her, and honestly, I can't blame them. We're all trying to move forward in our own way, and right now, keeping our distance from Amy is what's working best for us. I'm in a much better place than I was before, but I know the road to healing is still long. I'm considering therapy to help me process everything.